The Human Torch practices semen retention. Could he even like hold semen? Because he's like his body temperature has to be so hot it would just burn up in his testicles, right?
Just cooking the baby.
The real questions. You don't want to get her pregnant. Just flame on real quick, flame off, and then you're shooting blanks.
There's a really easy homophobic joke here that I'm not gonna make, but I don't think he'd really be straight in the first place. But anyways,
well, he's fucking like a space centipede right now.
wait, is this canonical?
Yes.
Is that his beard?
Currently, he's doing that.
After this, I'll have to send something to the group chat for you guys. But like, yes, genuinely, the Human Torch is currently fucking this like anthropod fucking alien slug lady, and everyone's just chill with it. Everyone's just like,
nobody bats an eye.
nope.
Is she at least thick though? Is she slim thick at least?
I couldn't possibly describe this woman any more than I already have. It's the mind it boggles.
Smash or pass is all I'm asking.
Well, I guess that depends.
Okay. All right. Speaking of anthropomorphic beavers, this is the Devil's Work podcast. The podcast
now
where
I have to leave all that in.
I was hoping you would have to. Oh man, yeah, she's like a centipede. She has so many arms.
So many more to choke you with.
She looks like her face looks like the Pokemon that's like a turtle, the Gen 2 one that has like the little spindly head.
No. I tapped out after 151.
This just has to go into the video episode at this point. just so people can
It looks like a skinwalker.
Oh my fucking god. Okay.
Anyway, welcome to the Devil's Work.
Yeah, welcome to the Devil's Work. Jesus fucking Christ.
This is the podcast where I forced these two lovely men to cavalcade with me through the treacherous lands of 2010s humor and sex jokes. And today we have a doozy because we got all of those things in the 2014 hit cult classic. It's not a cult classic yet, but it will be eventually.
I think it is.
With time. It should be. I swear to God, if it's not, I'll get so mad. This is Zombeavers, directed by Jordan Rubin. 2014, like I said. I saw this movie, I think, around 2014 or 15, right when I started college. And it was just one of those like deep dives. I got really into like schlocky B movies. Not like the Lloyd Kaufman. Not Lloyd Kaufman. Is it Lloyd Kaufman that I'm thinking of? Trauma is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, Lloyd Kaufman. Yeah, not like that, but like very low budget $2,000 indie director from your your fucking photography class that wants you to be a stand-in. Yeah, like that type of stuff. Exactly. And so I started deep diving in, like, I found a couple gems. Think of in the vein of like Velocipaster. That's what we're getting into today.
It's giving close-up photo through a chain link fence, color graded to black and white.
It's
just
black
a
and
single
white.
flower is actually in color.
It's black and white photo of a plastic white chair in a grassy field at a Dutch angle.
This is about to be one of our dumbest fucking episodes.
This whole movie,
I definitely turned both of those photos in for projects. 1000%.
Yep, absolutely.
This whole movie is an hour and 18 minutes, including credits. And I swear to God, it could have been 45 minutes, which it's perfect for me.
It could have been 10.
I know. Being terminally online, I love this movie because it just feels like a YouTube sketch, or like modern day, it'd be like those Instagram comedians that only do sketch comedy on like Instagram and TikTok now. It feels like one of those that just went on for too long. Like I Think You Should Leave reminds me a lot of this in its humor, where the joke starts, the joke goes on. It's not funny anymore, but it keeps going, and then it becomes funny again, and then it's over. It's so stupid. But
very, very
synopsis of this: a group of college friends find their weekend of sex and debauchery ruined when deadly zombies. Wow, I already fucked this up.
No.
We're gonna redo that. Okay.
That's pretty much correct. Yeah.
You just had to
Deadly
fix the last
zombie
word.
beavers
Yeah, there you
formed
go.
a riverside cabin. I know it's real deep. It's a real doozy of like a head shaker, but that's where we get this crazy title, Zombeavers. It's really heady, you know, but
Yeah, this
I
one's for
think
the
it's just
thinkers.
yeah, not to be mistaken with zombies or zombies, which are other two banger shitty movies.
The fuck? Oh
Also not to be mistaken with DC's Zombeavers.
yeah, which we talked about when we did our interview. That's so funny.
Yeah, now you guys have the brain rot.
Yeah.
Check out our interview with Jim Ojala.
This definitely is the older brother though of any shitty zombie movie, because unlike Zombies, which is, as it sounds, a zoo gets infected with a zombie virus, or Zombies, which is hordes of bees that become undead, this is enjoyable. Like no, hear me out. This is Sharknado, and those movies are like Birdemic. You know what I mean?
I haven't seen either one of those. So
you haven't? Oh, I'm picking Sharknado. We're doing. Ooh, there's like 6 of them. They just made a new one.
I live in this world.
You haven't seen Sharknado? Oh my god. Okay. All right. So, trigger warning for this episode: violence against animals. Crude humor, like epic lol, so random. The narwhal bacon's at midnight. 2010s crude humor. Yeah, and an excessive amount of beaver jokes. And man, it's very timely that this week our new president got picked, because if anything sums up this week, it's this movie, because they really do be grabbing them by the pussy. They are straight chomping on beavers this whole movie.
Yeah, this movie, it is very. I will say this. I when going in, I was like expecting this to be way worse than it actually was.
It's so good.
Yeah, way worse than it. I expected a whole lot worse. So I was pleasantly surprised when we got even the opening, like just the cameo.
I was like, oh, it's self-aware. Thank Christ.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have picked it if it was just shitty. It knows what it is.
Well, no, I'm just playing.
I will say, if people are just looking for just a stupid fun time, this is a good one to throw on.
I didn't defend Joey as much as I wanted to, because Chad really swayed me like the Republican he is on the Green Room episode. Yeah, so I feel like this is my karma. I feel like it's just gonna be me getting like throat fucked from the front and behind this entire time.
Did you just call me a Republican?
Yeah, you're canonically a Republican. Do you not remember your conservative grifting arc from like 3 months ago?
Show me where on the hand you are, because I'm flying out there to catch. Give you these hands.
No, you don't understand. You're fiscally conservative, but what is it? Socially liberal. One of those assholes. You're like Mark Cuban.
Look, all I'm saying is I'm just sharing meme after meme about, like, can't we just be friends?
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well, we hit them with the trigger warnings. We hit them with the synopsis. Are we doing this thing?
Yes, yeah. Real quick, yeah, we're doing it right now. If you're a fan of Cabin in the Woods, if you're a fan of Cabin Fever, if you're a fan of Evil Dead, and if you're a fan of cabins, yes, exactly, beat me to it. If you're a fan of cabins, you're gonna fucking love this movie.
If you really liked Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze, and your favorite character was the Ooze, you're gonna like this one.
Yeah, 100%.
There's another podcast I listen to where they go back and forth. They're like, what's the best movie sequel subtitle? Secret of the Ooze or Back in the Habit?
Whatever created Electric Boogaloo, I would have to say.
Oh, that was Breaking.
Breaking too, yep. All right, let's fucking
all right. The film begins just like this episode is about to. The film begins with a cameo from the one and only Bill Burr, who plays Joseph. And what I just found out 10 years later after seeing this, John Mayer, who plays Luke.
I was wondering who that was. I was like, why is he like vaguely familiar? I don't think he's a comedian.
That blew my fucking mind when I saw that. I was like, wait, what?
That's funny.
Driving a truck full of chemical waste, Joseph talks about how he dated a guy for a week. Quote, "It was like one of the easiest weeks of my life, other than the sex. That was brutal. It's not the dick, it's the whiskers. It creeps you out."
Bill Burr can be surprisingly down sometimes. Like sometimes he'll go on some like
so funny, dude.
Sometimes he'll go on some real old man yelling at a cloud rants, but then like occasionally he'll just be like, "What if I sucked a dick?" And I'm just like, "Oh
yeah,
okay."
This happened more recently, but go listen to his Bill Maher. He was on Bill Maher's podcast, and he just
tore him a new one
for like an hour.
Fucking destroying.
There's clips of it just
you know what, Bill? You're a fucking asshole. I don't think you've ever told anyone in your life that you're wrong. It's like, holy shit!
I love that, dude. I gotta go listen to that.
Oh, it's beautiful. Just look up the quick cut compilations of it. It's like 5 minutes long.
So funny.
Look, Bill Burr, I'm conflicted about. Bill Maher can eat shit anyway.
I used to like him just to spite my family, who's like uber Republican, like to the furthest extreme. And now I, am an adult and I watch him and I'm just like, I was such an asshole at 15. Like I used to laugh at him. The way I used to watch Bill Maher is that one Family Guy bit where they say some random guy's name and the cutaway is just the guy writing on paper and he looks up and he's like, "You don't even know who I am." Like that's the way I watched Bill Maher, because I was just like, "Oh yeah, exactly. I can't even drive yet."
So stupid.
But
you're like, religious, but Israel does have the right to do what it does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Is real. Some things that are real is this movie. I'm trying to segue. Unlike things that are,
I'll allow it. Go.
Unlike things that aren't real, this movie is real, and what is real is some more banter happening about taking a shit in a friend's toilet and or on his table before Joseph takes out his phone and starts texting while driving.
I gotta say, that's a take I've agreed with my whole life. I've had friends my whole life that have like
shitting
been like,
on the table.
And no, but the whole like, don't take a shit at my house. I've had lots of friends that are just like, "No, you have to go home," and I'm just like, "Look, I live 40 minutes away and we skateboarded here. You don't shitting at your house."
We're arguing now. You don't have to go home, but there's come on, like if you know it's gonna be like sloppy Joe mix straight out of the can. And you just
that's what the room is for.
I know, and I agree with Burr's rant here. But like, if you're over my place for the first time and I've met you like 2 times and now we're hanging out at my place hanging and you're like, "Hey, I gotta go to the bathroom," there is like a split second of anxiety I have every time. I'm like, I swear to God, if he ruins that fucking toilet for the next 4 hours, I'm never gonna tell you not to use it, but I do have the internal anger when I walk in there 2 hours later and it smells like a fucking like something bad. I had something and it was too naughty, so I wasn't gonna say it.
I think really? You need to stop.
Limits. That's interesting.
We do.
I think you need to stop bringing dates home from Port Authority, because stinking 2 hours later is not normal.
See a doctor.
I have a type.
a type 2.
I thought that joke. Anyways, we're moving on. That was good. Luke spots a deer in the wood. Wow, I can't read today. Luke spots a deer in the road and asks Joseph if he sees it. Joseph says he does and crashes straight into it. And then Luke plays the fight riff. The collision causes a canister to fly out of the truck and into a nearby river. As the stream carries it away, we get a Scooby-Doo looking ass credit sequence, complete with the little animations of the group running, being chased by the what we now to come to assume Zombeavers, with jaunty tunes alike and akin, indicating what kind of time we're in for. And I mean, like, this is what I mean. Like, it's so incompetently competent, this movie. Like, it's not a bad movie in any regard, but it's not really done well.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's weird because it's like, it doesn't feel like a shitty movie. It just feels like a 30-minute YouTube video you would have watched. And then they just somehow got 10 grand to stretch it into an hour. Like, it's so good. And the cast, I mean, I'm not sure if it's the same guy. I didn't double check, but our comic relief character, kind of like the stoner fuckboy, who's
Yeah.
my favorite character in this whole movie.
He's so dumb.
I'm pretty sure he's the same guy from my memory from Brosa Simi Valley. There's the
Yeah,
meme
that
of
is
him going
him.
like,
That is
"Yo,
him.
I'm straight up not having a good time right now."
Yeah.
And so
He's
like we
definitely-
have like that cast, and like even the other guys, they're like the guy from That Thing type of actors. Like I've seen
for
them
sure.
all around that time just in shit. The guy from Strange Darling, that he's in everything now that's good. Like when you see him, you know it's going to be an underrated banger. You know who I'm talking about, Joey?
Which one is he?
Strange Darling, the
Jake?
lead.
Yeah. But no, yeah. I'm just saying, which one was he in here? I forgot.
He wasn't in here, but they were those types of actors because, like, at that same
I
time,
get you,
2010s,
I get you.
he was in Jennifer's Body as like the
Mhm.
goth kid. He was in the
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street remake, and I'm always like, I like you, but these movies, not Jennifer's Body, that movie rips, but like the Nightmare on Elm Street
Yeah.
remake, I remember watching that and being like, this movie is stinky, but I really like you, and I don't know why. And I think he's in Teeth too, which I defend that movie. I love that
think
movie.
he is as well. Yeah, we've talked about doing Teeth on this show for
Yeah,
years.
but he's in all these
Yeah.
great movies, but like he never gets credit. And I feel like a lot of these actors are just like ripe from the
Similar to that, yeah,
2010s
for sure.
Vine era. And it just gives it such a chronically online feel that I adore so closely.
Yeah, of course you do.
Yeah. So the container eventually reaches a beaver dam and begins to leak with two little guys sitting nearby. And this is what I love about this movie. Like, there's a lot of CGI. Like
All
when
the
we were
little
talking-
guys.
all the little guys, they were quite small, but like unlike the CGI gore that we get like in the beginning when the deer gets hit and you can see the organs clearly like green screening off the truck, all these beavers are like, for some reason they got the budget handled properly to get like remote control animatronic good looking beavers, and they all have personality. They're not just dumb animals. They're like crying and like,
like it's really reminiscent of like Gremlins in that way, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the puppets have a lot of life to them, which is weird. Again,
it's what I would sell this movie to someone as Gremlin with titties in it.
So Gremlins 2?
Gremlins 2, exactly.
You got the hot gremlin.
Okay, I've had a feeling that's what you were talking about.
Wood, by the way. But anyways, we're then introduced.
That's not controversial. Give me.
Is it bestiality if they're like
leopard
aliens?
print?
They're like aliens, right? So would it be bestiality?
Well, is it bestiality if she's then wearing a leopard print bra?
Well, no, because I've done that with women that wear leopard print bras.
Well, you're a furry.
Does it make you a furry? Does it make you a furry if the woman is wearing like snakeskin boots and a leopard print thong? Does that make you a furry? Or does it have to be the suit?
I'm just asking questions, man.
There's got to be a page in the rule book about it. I'm thinking yes.
I mean, it makes you an asshole. You should be throwing red paint on her or something. But like, I don't think it makes you a furry. Okay, all right. So,
hey, snakes have a hemipenis. They've had it too good in this country for too long.
Do snakes have penises?
Yes, and it has
Oh
two
my
heads.
God.
That's what a hemipenis means.
Oh shit! I've never seen a snake penis. Now I'm interested. We got to get through this
And they
episode so I
say
can do
you
a quick
can't
Google
learn
search.
anything on this.
Yeah,
show.
yeah. Maybe I'm
They
scaly.
also have
I don't think I'm a
cloacas.
furry. I don't even. I've heard that word. I'm gonna pretend like I know what it is. What is that word?
You
Now I
do
need
if
to know.
you're scaly.
Fuck.
Exactly.
I'm not a scaly then. All right. We're safe for now.
Yeah,
We're
move
introduced.
on.
We're introduced to Jen, to Zoe, to Mary, our lead pack of Alpha Stacy's who are on their way to a cabin for a girls' weekend. Before Jen gets back in the car, we see her texting someone named Sam, who is attempting to apologize for her. And I just want to say, 2010s now feeling aged hurts me because that text on that phone looked like a fucking Game Boy. like holy shit.
I think I had like some defense mechanisms kicking in because now that you mention it, yeah, that is fucked up.
I've noticed it the last 2 years.
Those cell phones look 80 years old.
Yeah, like the last couple of years, every time I watch a movie from like 2009, like Easy A is the worst one. It makes you feel like a bag of bones, but like, holy shit! Like
both of the movies we just watched, because we're recording 2 today. Both of the movies we just watched had like horrendous early 2000s
cell
texting.
phones.
Yeah. But like when you're in your prime, when Zombeavers comes out, and you're like 4 when the other movie comes out, you don't feel as bad about the other movie that you do this movie. Now I am past my youth. I am now aging in decline. I am dying slowly. And you know, like that, we're gonna like that, time moves on, just like this will move on. Yeah. And before Jen can get back in the car, like we said, she gets that text from Sam on her ancient cellular device, her brick phone, her shitty Nokia with her YouTube app that looks like a TV because it's 2014. And when she tries responding to the text inside the car, Mary chastises her and reminds her that she specifically asked for, quote, no texting and no boys this weekend. We cut to a random good old boy wearing #1 dad hat fishing by the river. His lure gets snagged away. I don't know why I'm doing the voice still, but his lure gets snagged away by something in the water. And then we get this POV switch similar to like the Evil Dead in the trees. And then it switches to the thing that attacks him from the woods. I wonder what it could be.
Burr.
Yeah, it's Bill Burr. Bill Beaver. That's why they picked him.
Bill Beaver.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. The girls arrive at the cabin and are greeted by Mr. and Mrs. Gregerson. Specifically Mrs. I just fucked it up and I wanted to play it off. Mrs. Gregerson greets the girls at the cabin. Say that 10 times fast. Who's known Mary since she was little. Zoe.
That's Human Torch level.
Zoe lets it slip that Jen's boyfriend cheated on her, which is what I actually brought them up here. This is the one point that first, like, I didn't tell you guys this. I woke up at 5:30 today. I told you that much. But I watched this movie at 7 a.m. Like I was rubbing my crusty eyelids, drinking a protein shake in my underwear, scratching my tummy, and I was turning this on.
I can't tell you how happy I was that you said eyelids of all things.
Yeah.
I was just over here rubbing my crusty.
When you do too much semen retention, it builds up in your eyelids. So like, you know, like when you sleep, it's like when you have to lick an envelope but then open it again. All right. But this was the first part that made me like belly laugh, and I didn't tell you guys this, but I was like, I told you I did like a 3-week caffeine break, and I drank half a pot of coffee today, which is why I'm jazzed right now. But like,
a lot has been explained.
My neighbors, I feel so bad for because it's Saturday, like 7:10 in the morning, and
fucking
this scene
Sabido Gigante.
I was cackling. Like I was doing like the like giggling like a fucking schoolboy on the
rubbing
playground.
His hands together.
I'm like holding a worm over my
like
crush
a fly
in 3rd
that
grade.
just landed.
Yeah, just ooh, we got jokes. But no, the way that Miss Gregerson reacts to I think
Zoe.
it's Zoe's character. Yeah. And she's just like, oh yeah, no, my daughter's a fucking bitch too. I completely understand. Don't have to apologize. And she's like, and the part that got me was she's like, she's bringing over all these types of genders. I don't even know what they are. And don't worry, I don't care. She can love who she loves. I'm a liberal woman. But my God, are they ugly? And so is my daughter. And I was just like, God, I forgot how mean-spirited this fucking movie was.
Yeah, it's just a stupid little line.
It's just so out of nowhere.
Yeah, but I do enjoy that because Zoe does fucking suck.
She does.
Yeah,
honestly, everyone in this movie sucks, and that's kind of just like the genre, you know. It's kind of weird too because I'm just thinking about it now. It rides this weird line of the transgression horror, like we've talked about with like In a Violent Nature and like usually slasher films, but they don't really do anything. Like they all suck, but they didn't do anything.
Yeah, they weren't actively involved in what happened. They just happened to be the bystanders.
Unless the transgression is, you know, swimming in the lake with your tits out, but
and from what I remember, I think that was the same thing with Cabin Fever, where it's more like the environmentalist angle of like the impact, because I think they all sucked too from what I remember, but they didn't really do anything, and you're just seeing these kids die by neglect of the environment, and yeah, I think it's more so that angle. But
yeah, like they didn't cause the Zombeavers.
Yeah, but as like not good as this movie is in terms of like it should be bad, but it's funny. It is weirdly subversive, funny. And we're gonna get into it. It's like with the way they like. I mean, it's been done before, but it is nice the way they didn't just go like. We don't get the 80s tropes of like the virgin lives, the alcoholic dies, the drug addict dies, and the couple that has sex dies. Like it does kind of try to do something interesting. They play with
those tropes for sure. Yeah.
But you know, like you do after a long car ride, you get settled and you play with yourself like this movie does. So they get settled in, and both Jen and Zoe attempt to send text, but find that there's no service. So they get dressed and head to the river, leaving Zoe's dog Gosling in the house. And in that whole interaction too, like when they're sitting around with is that the part with the popcorn? I just watched this morning. It's already left my mind.
Not yet, I think.
Oh no, this was when when she had to pee, and she's like, if she doesn't hurry up, I'm gonna piss on the couch right now. Yeah, and just like the whole like, I mean, Instagram's been around for like 5 years, and we've been around for 2000, and I'm like, God, I'm so old. Oh no, but after swimming topless around for a bit, at least in Zoe's case, they stumble onto the dam we saw from earlier in the movie. They see neon green stains everywhere, which Zoe assumes is beaver piss. Mary says, quote, maybe that's how they mark their territory. They're startled by a large brown bear nearby, and Zoe covers her tits in fear. We hear a gunshot, which I find so interesting, because it's like, you really think he's going to get off to that later? You think he's going to put that in the mental spank bank? Like, I would just be like, fucking fight mode. Like,
yeah,
I'd use my tits to beat him with it.
I did think that was a strange reaction to like, oh no, the bear's seen my titties. I didn't care if anyone else did.
I think it was just a goofy little like.
Oh, it was.
Gag.
Yeah, I just thought
I was like, that's funny. It was funny. It cracked me up when it happened. That was super funny.
So she's grabbing her tits with the fear of God in her eyes, waiting for this big brown bear to attack them. We hear a gunshot ring out, which scares off the bear. We're then introduced to Smith with a Y, a rugged local character who gives off a "y'all ain't from around here's are ya" vibe. He tells them they should cover up because there's families around, you know. And then of course the two of them and Zoe go like, oh yeah, she just, you know, she lost her top in the pond. And then he's like, nah, your stomachs, you whores, cover them damn satanic tattoos. Why don't you also? Yeah. Then he gets told to fuck off like he should. But you know, they go make fun of him, his little podunk looking ass, bigoted little self. And later on, the girls are sitting around for beer and shots and a foul round of Would You Rather. I don't think that's pretty foul, but in context of someone who's not jaded and nihilistic and broken like me, that is pretty foul, I guess, in hindsight.
About it is.
I know it is, but like out of all the things we watch here, the hypothetical of would you rather see your dad kill your mom and not be able to do anything? Or have to watch, or get raped by your dad. Get graped by your dad. There we go. Clip that first part out. Get essayed by your dad.
Chat, don't clip that.
And then make your mom watch. Obviously, I'd get graped by my dad. Like, I don't want to watch my mom get brutally stabbed 57 times in the face.
Is their reactions though? Like,
I know.
That's pretty hot though. So I was like, I mean, God damn it.
I've had that dilemma, you know. I know a couple people with a couple hot parents.
Choose your battles wisely, dog.
Not my parents, Jesus, my friends' parents. But point is,
I'm saying who you defend on this fucker.
I'm not defending anybody. I'm defending myself as the minority here, as the white man in this country. As
Look, don't make me think about anything vaguely political right now.
I'm sorry. Okay? It's the only thing that's been on my mind. We get an Evil Dead callback with the low angle camera running through the woods and eventually get a knock on the door. Zoe goes out to check, and they get surprised by their boyfriends, Tommy, Buck, and Sam. And again, like, even as dumb as this is, and even seeing it a second time, as goofy as it is, and as much as I'm like remembering where it's going, I don't remember all of it after so many years. And like, it's not a scary movie whatsoever. I was cackling the whole time, but the way they can build tension in a good way. Like, if you hadn't seen this, you would assume, and even with the thwack that they hear, you would assume it's like a beaver's tail. You're like, oh, it's Zombeavers. It's gonna like, they don't just like make it lazy. Like it's a I don't want to even use effective. It's not effective, but
it's for what they're trying to do. They're not trying to do high art.
It's a movie.
It's effective, but typed out like all lowercase with a period with the little sparkling emojis like a fuckboy would, with all the spaces in between the letters and italicized. You know what I mean? Like, it's effective, but it's not effective. It's effective in like the way that this movie will like tell you they love you and then ghost you in 3 weeks.
I hate the way your brain works.
Me too.
Me too. Me three. We finally all agree on something. Anyways, the girls reluctantly let the boys stay, and we get a hilarious sex scene between Zoe and Buck that I didn't relate to at all in any capacity. While Jen and Sam have a conversation.
Cracks me up, bro. I was crying. So fucking funny.
So she's getting her back blown out doing tricks on the thing. You know, I'm trying to relate to the younger demographic. And while my guy Buck is just chomping on a lunchly, you know, his cheese is mighty drippy though. But no. So so they're in doggy style, and the whole time Buck is just like exasperated, just like, you're so hot, you're too hot for me. And she's like, yeah, I know I am. Oh, you fucking know it.
Yeah, I think he literally says like, what are you doing with me, or something like that.
Why are you even with me?
It's the most like straight man thing ever. Like, he wants to show emotion but can't, and refuses to go to therapy, so that little bit of projection slips out in the heat of throws. And he's just like, what are you doing with me?
The fact that she agrees.
Yeah,
because she's such a bitch.
That's pretty bad.
Oh my god, it was so funny.
So while this loving, hot, romantic, steamy passion of sex with Sting playing, candles lit, and silk sheets laid across them is happening, Jen and
I love that.
This throw of passion that you would only see in Skinamax is happening. Jen and Sam have a conversation about a photo, only showing his face, her boyfriend. So she asks him who it is that he's kissing. Because apparently a party a couple weeks ago, someone posted this photo of him kissing another woman. Ooh,
Instagram.
So sultry and dramatic on Instagram. And it's the shittiest Instagram photo you've ever seen. You can really tell when it was made. And he tries to convince her to drop the whole thing. It has like 5 filters on it. Like, it's like the new memes where it's like 50 filters on it, and it says like Rio.
Yeah.
He tries getting cute with her in the hallway after she slaps him and walks off. And it's like the classic thing of like, oh, she said no. Oh, she said no and then backhanded me twice. Oh, I'm going to get up and grab her by the shoulder, pin her against the wall, and then she'll fuck me. So he like pushes her against the wall, and they kiss passionately. And I'm like, oh, I don't remember it being so fucking like,
it's icky.
And then she kind of leans into it though. And then right when he's about to like go for the grab her by the pussy moment, you know, like we were talking about earlier, as this movie does a lot, he gets bit by the beaver, as in her knee goes into his testicles, and I cackled. She goes to take a shower. Yeah, he got bit by the beaver.
I'm gonna give you that one. I'm gonna give you that one.
I just need to take a quick moment to point out to everybody, this has been about 30 minutes of this film.
Yeah. This movie, like I said, it's an hour and 18 minutes. Like, there's no time wasted. Yet for some reason, the last 20 minutes feels like an hour. I don't know why. But
yeah.
She goes to take a shower. You say
there's no time wasted, but my point was the pacing is pretty slow. They're like, here's the beavers, and then 20 minutes later, they're like, oh fuck yeah, there's beavers in this.
Exactly.
Well, she's in there.
I didn't mind it though. That's the thing. I didn't mind, the little comedic bits, because everyone was really good at it. I thought it was like, oh, it's wacky and it's fun.
It knows what it is. It's not like a bad thing, but it is like, it just goes pretty long.
For a while, we don't see the beavers for sure.
The way you're describing this is the way that I'm seeing a lot of people that aren't into Terrifier as Terrifier 3 is blowing up. sees Terrifier. Like, and I understand those criticisms. Like, it's too long to be like a nothing burger of a story and like just for these gore kills. So, like, this movie does, if you're a fan of Terrifier, but lean more on the comedic side, you might like
Oh
this a
yeah.
lot. But if you
Yeah.
don't like Terrifier, I don't think you would like this at all because it's just a very padded movie full of animatronic gore. But yeah, you know, after she knees him in the testicles, she goes to take a shower, but discovers a, you know, Zombeaver in the tub, and it is as funny as
We've
it
all
sounds. Like,
been there.
I
Don't
can't
you hate
stress
it when
enough.
that
You know,
happens?
no, to be fair, living where I live, when you go quote unquote up north, with air quotes, anywhere like above your knuckles, uh there are those moments of like you have a cabin, you have property up there, and you haven't been there in like 8 months since last 4th of July, and then you like open the toilet and there's a spider the size of your hand when you're taking a piss
Fuck
just crawling out.
Oh
that
God.
Because it's just
bullshit.
like
Oh
there's no
God.
like, a lot of those cabins,
Absolutely.
depending on how much money you have, it's just a cabin. That's the whole appeal. Like 40 miles away from like this. Like
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
like every 4th of July, this place becomes a desert town where I live, and everyone just goes to there where they are. And that is a very real thing of like opening, even when you're taking a piss, you got to open the toilet lid, kind of like do a flush to make sure nothing falls down. Because like
Oh
a
my
spider could just
Lord,
be
dude.
crawling up your butthole if you're not
I'm
careful.
never coming to Michigan.
No, you got to drive. To be fair, that's like 2 hours away from us, so like you're good.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Um,
bullshit like that in the desert
yeah,
area
we
for
we
sure.
just got a lot of not black widows, but brown recluses. Like
Fuck you.
those can just be hanging on your window if you're not
Yeah.
careful. You got to get
Fuck
those
you.
sprayed.
Absolutely. Fuck
Okay,
you.
so she's taking a shower. She finds the beaver when she gets her little panties off. When she's about to expose her beaver, the beaver is exposed. She runs out and pleads with the group in her panties to believe
I
her
just
that
need to
something
say
is wrong
something
with
so the
it.
video can see the posture you made me take. Go on. I needed the world to see.
They check the bathroom, and at first they can't find the beaver. They can't find it. It's gone. It's gone. She's crazy. It's gaslight the lady time in the slasher movie, which we all have come to know and
Yeah,
love.
for sure.
They
That's
check the
absolutely
bathroom, can't find the beaver. But as
I
soon
fucking
as
hate all of these dudes. I just need to take a second to say,
yeah.
like, they're supposed to be sorority sisters. I imagine these guys are all frat bros. They're all just like it's like if the Your Body My Choice guys actually got laid.
Christ, yeah.
it
Yeah.
is, but
You
it's
know?
again like their
Yeah.
stereotypes are such a product, and this is what stuck out to me of how aged it is. We have Sam, our lead, the blonde's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend or whatever he is right now. He's on the tightrope, we say, but he is like the edgy goth guy, but written by like a 30-year-old because he has like the black checkered Vans. He has the all black on, but it's bought from like H&M. He doesn't have like he
Yeah.
looks like a
Yeah.
fuckboy posing as like a coffee house musician. And then we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
like the
straight up, bro.
stoner, the dumbass fucking stoner, and then we have like the jock, but he's only a jock because he has a 6-pack blonde hair in a no-name varsity jacket.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
they're
Just
such
a store-bought
caricatures.
varsity jacket. He bought it and 3 old yearbooks for 40 cents.
Well, like our Sam, this guy, I love him as much as I hate him because he is such a quote unquote nice guy. Like he has that like look, like he's like
Yeah, of
peacocking
course.
as like the soft boy with the all black, and he's like, you don't understand my problems. I'm only 19, even though I have 5 o'clock shadow like a 27-year-old. You don't know how hard it is to be me. But then he just like, as soon as she walks away after bitch slapping him twice, he's just like grabs her. He's like, give me it. And like,
Return the slab.
return the slab. But he has like, I don't know. I love these characters as much as I hate them. Normally, when you give me caricatures that are just there to get killed off, like Until Dawn, the video game is a good example of those.
Yeah.
I didn't really like any of those fucking people, but like this is that. But I actually I enjoy hating them.
Yeah, for sure. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Yeah, like it's fun and it's never like too too much of either side. Like it's never too like trying to be too serious or trying to be too goofy. Like they ride that perfect line, I think, of the comedy and the characters in this movie.
And the comedy works even better for me with these characters because it's weird because like movies like Possession that always get talked about. I know I'm comparing this to Possession. Hear me out. Hear me out. It's a hot take. But
That's
hold on.
fucking
I'm
what
not
the
comparing it, but this is an
motherfucker
example.
you
You know
about
how
to
like you
say
hear
right now.
you know how you hear about examples of like screenwriting and like performing like certain types of acting, as in like they have a very experimental, almost like freeform
Yeah, Possession.
interpretive dance type of acting in Possession,
Literally all
or
of
like
Possession.
Charlie Kaufman, like Synecdoche, New York movies have a very specific type of speech patterns and stuff like
Mm,
that, like
mm.
Yorgos Lanthimos. This movie has that, but unintentionally, because like half the cast are not good actors at all, but then the
Yeah.
other half of the cast are like decent enough at acting to make me somewhat believe it. So when you get like a bad actor and a good actor talking, there's like this jarring in between of like
Yeah, for
clearly
sure.
reading the script word for word and somebody giving emotion. And
That's
it almost like gives it its own tone. And I love it so much. It like breaks my brain. It feels like
that's
if we
fair.
upload this and the audio is like 1 second off, like
Yeah,
that's how
yeah,
this
for sure.
movie
Yeah, for
feels.
sure. That's so funny. You're absolutely right though. I would 100% agree with you with that one.
But yeah, as Chad was saying, these guys suck because as they're going up to this bathroom before they bust down the door, Sam grabs a baseball bat and then like he's going up all like literal, like we said, Scooby Doo. Like they're all huddled
Literally.
together. They're all caricatures of the 2010s, and they're all stuck together, all behind Sam. And then at the last second, he's too much of like a beaver, let's say, and he doesn't do it. So then our jock, of course, he's like, "Stop being such a big puffy beaver, my guy," and then pushes him out of the way, grabs the bat, busts down the door, and there's nothing there. And then, of course, the comic relief comes in and he's like, "Ooh, ooh, I'm so scared of the shower. Ooh."
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
all of a sudden, we hear a loud growl. And then out from under the sink, of course, because, they're somehow smart enough to know how to hide timing,
Yeah.
how to open doors,
Yeah.
but they're dead.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about them. It is gremlins. Like they have
Exactly.
forethought. And he busts out and then bites our fuck boy with the mommy issues, whose name is eluding me.
Oh, Buck.
Buck. There we go.
Buck boy.
Buck boy. There we go. Perfect. We got Buck boy. Um after a brutal fucking beatdown straight out of Office Space with that printer.
Oh my god, I love it.
They start just beating the shit out of it until it literally splits in half. And that's what I love about this movie. Not to like get into it too much. This is more something to complain about later. But they acknowledge at one point that they're dealing with zombies, or specifically Zombeavers.
Zombeavers, yep.
Yet they never once, even when they're killing them, stab them in the head. They do it one time. They're just beating the shit out of their kidneys. Like it's like they're dead. You gotta kill the brain. What zombies are canonically in this universe, yet you're doing everything that you're not supposed to do.
100%.
But they do that with the baseball bat. They split this guy like a fucking accordion. They bag him up. They throw him on the fucking porch. Jen wants to leave, but the group tells her she shouldn't. Like it's just a fucking, rabies-ridden beaver. Don't let it ruin the trip. Bucks even suggests having a quote unquote safety orgy after, because Jen's like, "Hey, can I sleep in the bed with you?" And her boyfriend, kind of looks at her like, "No." And she's like, "Yeah, anything for you." And then Buck's like, hey, this could be our final night together. I really think we should penetrate everybody simultaneously, just for security and warmth.
Just a little same time penny.
And like, as shitty as they are, like it's done. Like you portray fuckboys as annoying, and this is like, it just makes me, they're so believable, but so lovable. They're so hateable, but I love these characters as shitty as they are. I don't know what to say.
No,
maybe it's
great.
nostalgia for college, but there's something so like charmingly shitty about these guys. So anyways.
Yeah, they're great. I agree with you.
Yeah. The next day we see Smith with a Y, my guy, setting up traps. That's an unfortunate bar. In the forest when he hears a loud growl from the woods.
That was good.
We see the group heading out to the lake for a swim, but before they leave, they see the bag. Specifically, Sam, I believe her name is, sees the bag. that they tossed out the night before. It's now empty, ripped open, full of blood and guts, with weird paw prints, leading out to the woods. Jen is uneasy, but again, the group convinces her everything's fine. They continue on. Even her ex or current fuckboy Sam, her situationship Sam.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, we did whatever wanted to eat it a favor. Yeah, whatever. Fuck it. It's diseased and tried to kill us. So whatever eat it's probably diseased now and it's gonna kill us. But it's fine. It's fine. We don't have to think about it. So while everyone's lounging around by the lake, everyone's goofing and gaffing, getting all silly with it. Sam and Mary have a conversation off to the side, and it's revealed. I forget that we record, and I do this a lot. I just want to say I don't have a Coke problem. I am so insecure about how dry my nose is. No, I think this at work constantly because my nose gets so dry in the winter where I live. So I'm always just like, yeah, how much money did you want back? Yeah, no, I have a dry nose. I don't have an Adderall prescription. Everything's fine. So we digress. It's revealed when they're getting all goofy and gaffy that the other person on the side of the photo of him smooching on another lady was Jen. Dun, dun, dun. Wasn't obvious with her same fucking haircut, identical to what she's had this whole movie. But, Sam's getting all goofy with her, getting all silly. Or I said Jen, but Mary. Dun, dun, dun. And then that's the one that Jen saw.
Yeah.
I can't speak today. It's fine. It's fine. That's why I'm playing it up right now. She tells him it was nothing. And that he should just forget it, even though he's poking her, and he's like, "Tee hee hee, your boyfriend's right there. Tee hee, I'm gonna poke your belly."
Yeah.
And then even her boyfriend acknowledges it, and he's like, "The fuck is going on?" But he's too fucking stupid to ever say anything this whole time. He's just like, "Oh, whatever."
100%.
So this part's hilarious to me. This whole scene because of one very small, minute.
I will
thing.
say the first time they showed the picture, I thought it was Zoe, but then it ended up being the other girl, and I was like, oh, so I wasn't too far off. You're all scumbags.
It would have made more sense, or it would have been more predictable if it was Zoe. I think.
Yeah, and,
you know what I mean. That's why
they play her up.
Red herring.
They play Zoe. No pun intended. But because she has red hair. Get it? Red herring.
No, Austin. Thank you very much.
Say the word Mary. No, we're moving on. But say the word Mary real quick. I have a question because this makes sense in my brain, but it feels stupid. Say Mary.
Mary.
Does that, when you think of Mary, do you not think of a redheaded woman? Like certain names have certain hair colors to them. You know what I mean?
I think that's just autism.
Like when you say Wendy's or Wendy, you think of a red-haired girl. When you say Raggedy Ann, you think of a red-haired girl. When you say Mary,
when I think of Mary, I just think of the mother of Christ our Lord.
I thought you were going to say American Mary. We were on so different pages.
Yeah, I just think of her like weeping while Jesus is dragging the cross, and there's people like doing a sideshow and they're selling like Jesus merch. Have you seen that painting?
No.
It's like if you look at it, it's like a classical like Renaissance painting, but it's like Jesus doing this.
The Stations of the Cross.
Yeah, he's like dragging the cross, and it's like Mary and the women are like catching him as he falters and helping him up.
Yeah,
and then over in the side of this like Renaissance, like couple 100-year-old painting, there's like a dude with like shawl with Jesus's face on it, just like popping out and selling merch at the crucifixion.
He's selling the bootleg tour t-shirts.
Exactly. $10.
Like, hey, $10. Remember when Jesus did this one?
So this whole scene, anyways.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to the point. I have a gripe that's not even a gripe because I don't hate it. It makes it funnier for me. But Jen finally steps foot in the water. We get a beaver POV. When she's like ankle deep, and they're like, "Come on, get in the fucking water, you fucking beaver." But we get a POV shot. It's like dun yeah. But the furry equivalent, not the scaly equivalent. It swims up to her and around her foot, and she complains that something brushed past her. But the group just laughs at her for being paranoid. And they're out by the dock, which they had brought up earlier. They like make a point to mention that it's anchored out there, and it's not just a fucking piece of wood sitting there because Zoe's a fucking idiot. But all of a sudden, when they're fucking around, Buck is dragged under the water, and as they're like, "Oh, Mr. Funny Man's being funny," a pool of blood starts to spread. And when he surfaces, he's holding his own severed foot, screaming, and it's just. I can't not laugh at that. Like, the man is down to the equivalent of bad that you can only get at the bottom of the floor, and I am just dying laughing. The group starts panicking, and like this is another thing I always find funny. Like even in videos that are real, like this is so fucked up to say. When people panic and are running from like a real danger, it's not funny. But like when people are swimming in a panic, it's so fucking funny to me. And it's evil to say. I feel like a terrible person, but people like running for their lives while trying to swim is so fucking stupid.
Because it's some dream level shit where you can't move right.
It's like running in sand. I know. So they're swimming to the dock in the middle of the lake. As the blood's surfacing, and then they're getting to the raft for safety. One of the beavers jumps up to bite Buck on the shoulder, but they fling it back into the water. This is when they're on the dock now. They use the dog's safety vest as a makeshift tourniquet for Buck.
This
and Jen,
so Jen
that was actually surprisingly smart from this cast.
Yeah. Because they initially were like, Zoe, give me your bra, and he's like, no, it's too loose. And that also sets up another scene in a couple minutes, but
it's so fucked up.
But Jen books it for the inside of the cabin to call 911. As that scene ends, I want to circle back to when she initially had her feet in there. The whole time, I know that it like brushed up against her, and we later get this little quip that like beavers like to play practical jokes, which adds another gremlin layer to this, where the beavers will actively fuck with them just for the fun of it. Yeah. Before they kill them, they like to play with their dino nuggies before they eat it, you know. And yeah, like the whole time she's seeing this happen, she's actively ankle deep in water, and she just has to take one step back to be safe. But she's screaming that whole time just with her toesies fully exposed. Like
could have lost the fucking toesies.
Yeah. You see your best friend's man's getting his foot chewed off, and you're like, yeah, I can lose one. It's fine. But she starts booking it to call 911 back at the cabin. But we see the outside of the fuse box with a slow pan down. It has claw marks, blood stains, and someone has chewed through and destroyed it already. I wonder who did that. The Zombeavers surround the raft and begin tearing through the bottom of it, like straight up jumping out of it like whack-a-mole. One of them makes it to the top, but Tommy punts it back into the lake, which again, just hilarious. Like the sound effects they use like a fucking like football, so like a bop, like up, well bop, but punts it back into the lake. Sam gets frustrated, grabbing Gus.
This is fucked up. Man.
I laughed. I felt so bad. Sam, being the piece of shit he is, he's arguably the shittiest person here, like morally and ethically. Sam just gets again. He just gets frustrated. He's like not even like in survival mode. He's just like, dude, this is annoying. Picks up this dog that you can like football by the chest and just throws it in the river as far as he can. The dog falls, and he looks like Wishbone. He's just dog paddling. Yeah, the beavers swarm him, and then you just hear like, ow, and they drag him under and see a blood pool. The very good boy, swiftly eaten by the beavers. Inside that cabin,
I gotta say too, it really struck me though. I kept thinking throughout this movie, I was like, Zoe is such a like dour, contradictory, edgelord, terrible, like not even like wannabe goth girl. You know, like she thinks that's what goth is like just being like a mean girl piece of shit.
Yeah.
But her dog is named after fucking Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, I
was like, that's a very strange characterization.
She's not goth. She's like the girl that goes to art school, and then she smokes like American Spirit, like the yellow ones, and then has like Chelsea boots. Because it's 2014, so she wore like the witch hat with the Chelsea boots. Smoked like Parliaments if she was like a little bit richer, but if she was poor, she'd smoke yellow American Spirits. And then she had like the circle glasses. Yeah, she was the hot girl. God, that kind of makes me sound like a furry after I finish the sentence. Hold on. She is like the hot art hoe from fucking Extremely Goofy movie that picks up Goofy's son's friend. You know what I'm talking about?
You know, she gets a
Doug
pass.
Funny's sister.
She gets a pass. Judy Funny, yes. She gets a pass when it comes to furry stuff. I don't know why. Couldn't tell you. It's just like Maid Marian.
That's why.
It's just like Maid Marian in the cartoon Robin Hood. You know, it just gets it's like Lola Bunny. It gets I couldn't tell you why.
It's because there's a limit. If they have floppy ears and a tail, but everything else is human, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, I think you're delineating rules that I never specified.
No, because it's so human. If it's over 50% human, no. If it's over 75% human looking, it's not fur bait. It's not fur bait, and that's not up for debate, is what I'm trying to say.
That line moved real quick.
Because I thought about it, and I'm like, wait, no, the other half can just be a mermaid, and I don't want to fuck a fish.
Amanda and I have been dying because I'm playing the new game from the Persona people. It's called Metaphor.
Yeah, I played the demo.
Yeah, it's so good. Ridiculous name, but it's so good. But there's all these different like races of people. So there's like bird people, there's like dog people, there's elves, different things like that. And then there's this people that are called the Ujif, and they're like bat people. I thought he was like a little mouse or a cat at first, and then eventually I was like, oh shit, he has like wings coming out of his elbows, and I realized they were bat people. But we were like, yeah, the furries are definitely having a field day with this one, and I was like, man, whoever's jacking off to the bat people has fucking problems.
Okay, here's the thing.
And I know there's someone out there doing it.
Wait, here's the thing. Is it a bat person? Wait, is it? No, I have a question because I didn't get that far in the demo. Is it a bat person in the way that like it has the face of a bat, or is it like a bat person in the way that like that white Sonic character with the wings and the big boobies is?
Is
it a devil? Is it a Devil May Cry bat demon lady?
I hate that you need specifications.
He just looks. He's very short, and he like has the same face as my cat Biscuit, and he has huge ears, and he has wings coming out of his elbows, and he's probably the best character in the game. Love Heismay.
Can we please move on from your fantasies, Austin?
Oh, I looked it up.
I know you did later on.
No, that's way too animal. That's just an animal. That's just an animal.
Yeah, right. He's just a bat.
No, that's no. That's Zootopia shit right there.
But there's also, I could tell that they put one sacrifice on the altar, one offering on the pyre. There's this lady that runs the inn. Did you meet Fabienne when you were playing the game?
Possibly. I know I went to like the honey something inn.
She runs the Hushed Honeybee, but she is so fox mommy coded that I was like, yeah, they definitely were like, look, leave the children alone, leave the bat people alone.
They're not children. They're 3,009 years old. What don't you understand?
just take fox mommy and have a good day.
They know my niche. Okay, but anyways. We
went way too long on your furry bullshit.
I'm not a furry. I just like hypotheticals here. This is a podcast. We need to have stupid hypotheticals sprinkled in. It's like the garlic powder of the fucking meal.
The only fucking reason why I'm allowing these tangents in is because of how stupid this fucking movie is.
Your pet, Austin's choice.
Yes. Your pet, Austin's breed.
Oh, God. All right, move on.
Sam gets frustrated, just like I am sexually. He grabs Gosling the dog and flings him into the water as a distraction. The very good boy is swiftly eaten by the beavers, just getting mowed down. It's the one time the beavers do not get eaten, ironically. But inside the cabin, one of them attacks Jen, one of them being the beavers, not the fuckboys, because at this point you don't know which one's gonna do what.
But
that's fair. They're choosing the bear.
Yeah. There is a bear in this movie that comes back around later, and it does seem like they choose the bear instead of the men. Which that's another thing. They've set up these things like the bear and this couple across the street, like everything down to a fucking bear in the woods that scares the boobies off this girl comes back around. So as stupid as this movie is, it's very competent in the fact that they don't just waste what they show you.
It's a solid script.
Yeah, but when It's not solid, but it's not wet. It's a colloid. You know what I mean?
It's solid enough.
If you throw a rock at it, it'll stand solid. But if you hold it in your hands too long, it'll get too soupy. It's a fucking colloid. Science. You know what I mean?
I didn't know this word before. That's the smartest thing you've ever said on
this show. It's a solid, a liquid, and a gas. It's the only thing I remember from science, and it was in like 4th grade.
Yeah,
it got you hard.
It's two of the three together. It doesn't have to be all three.
Sex is very colloid-like because solids, liquids, and gases should be shared during that.
Fucking Austin, move the fuck on.
I'm trying. Okay, so Jen is in the
move on. Austin is our go home Roger. Anyway,
inside the cabin. We're inside the cabin now. Jen is specifically. She is attacked by the beaver. The beaver attacks her. She stabs it in the head with a knife as it's about to eat her very own beaver. So think of, she crawls on top of the stove and think of like Reanimator with the head, the doctor who's headless. That's what's happening. But the beaver, again, is split like a fucking accordion, and his intestines are the wee woo part of it. And it looks like the Slinky Dog from Toy Story, because every time it moves forward, its butt will bounce back and then up with it again. It's so fucking funny. And it's going, and she doesn't jump back off the table. No, she openly spreads her legs. Yeah, she's just like, finally, somebody's willing to do this. All right, I'll take it. But stabs it right before it can go to fucking Chowtown. What were you gonna say?
They do make a real big point of saying multiple times in this movie that none of these guys eat pussy.
Go down, yeah.
Well, specifically Buck. Buck won't eat it out with Zoe. But yeah, it's assumed that if they're all friends that they're not going to fucking Mowtown. But how many times can I stick a word and put town at the end of it? Let's find out. The
Fellas, group makes surround yourself with guys who eat.
Fellas, is it gay to eat?
I know people who would say it. I have a coworker who told me
stupid as shit.
Something like people at my job range in age like so wildly. Some of them are like fresh out of college. Some of them are like in their 60s looking for a new industry. But the younger guys, they just want to be cool so fucking bad. That's all that it is. But I just had this guy telling me about how he's got all these girls lined up, how he just like bounces between all of them all the time and all this stuff. And then we went out as, like a group, and him and this other guy were with me, and he was like, "Oh, I'll take you home," because we all live in Oakland, and we're waiting on the other guy, and we're like in the car, like, where the fuck is this dude? And we go back into the bar, and he's in there flirting with some chick, like kissing up on her and stuff. And I'm like, hey, making fun of him because I'm like, I'm trying to fucking leave. Like I waited. There's no more trains. You guys said you would take me home. Get your ass in the car. And the other guy is like not even tripping so much about that. He's like, I can't believe you would kiss a woman. Don't you know women lick and kiss penis, and you're gonna kiss a woman that kisses penis? And I said, my brother, you should be kissing the ones that kiss with penis. Those are the ones you do want to be kissing.
So wouldn't it be gayer if a woman sucked your dick, because that would be docking with another man?
That's what I'm saying. Is like, by their logic, eating a woman out is like the gayest thing you can do.
Are they like fitness guys too? Because I was looking this up today for no reason. Don't ask questions. But I found out that if you eat a woman's vagina, you can actually get protein from it, like a significant amount.
I thought you were gonna say throat cancer.
I've heard that. Yes, no, but you get like protein from it. So if these alpha gym bros want to get fucking swole, they need to eat some medium rare pussy once a month. That's all I'm saying.
Medium rare pussy.
Yeah, like the last day where it's like a light flow, and the first day where it's a light flow.
Still a little pink.
Yeah, it's like dripping, but it's not like it's not a heavy flow day.
All right, this is we got to move on.
You get the irony taste, but you don't get the mouthful. All right, so I'm trying. I was actually.
You're not trying very hard.
Here's a joke that I never get to use. I'll say this and then we'll keep going. What's the difference between Bud Light and a clitoris?
Oh my God.
What?
Clitoris only tastes like piss for a second.
Good pussy tastes like the way your hands smell when you're on the swings for too long. That's all I'm gonna say.
What?
you know. Wait, now you're gonna make me explain it. I'm trying to get to the point.
Keep
here.
going. Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
It makes. Woo!
Fucking much.
Oh, I'm sweating. God damn it! All right, the group makes it back. They make it back to the cabin because they throw the dog and the dog goes bye-bye. The dog dies at the end.com. Zombeavers is on there. So they make it back just in time to find her. They state that the animal on the counter, that was a typo. They stare at the animal on the counter and realize that it is undead before Sam takes another knife and plunges it into his skull. The one time somebody has the foresight to be like, hey, we're going to say that these are zombies the whole time, but not properly kill them. So after this, is this the part where he rips off his fucking head and throws it? No, it's not. No, it's not.
No,
no, because that was at night. Remember, in this.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Right.
So they just leave this thing just straight up cooking on the counter. Yeah. So we cut back to Buck asleep on the couch with no blood like squirting out of his leg possible, and he's cradling his severed foot in a plastic bag filled with ice, and he's just zonked out. And the whole time he's had his foot chewed off, he hasn't really screamed at all. He just kind of went like me when I have a tummy ache, me when I eat too much cheese at 3 a.m. But my honest reaction when I have too much lactose. But the group argues about what to do next. As they do so, Zoe expresses her anger. It's a very subtle way to put it, towards Sam for, straight up like yoinking her dog. But Mary tries to calm her down, but this is when she blurts out, of course you would take his side. When she refutes this, Zoe says, oh yeah, tell that to Jen. She then outs Mary as the one in the photo. Dun dun dun. And this is when like it's fuck the beavers that are trying to kill us this whole time. They won't bother us while we give all this exposition about our drama.
Yeah.
For like 15 fucking uninterrupted minutes. They do say, which is weird, they specify like a couple times throughout this movie that like they're nocturnal and they do attack more at night. But the thing is, they still attack them during the day, which was this instant. So it's odd.
Strange. I know the logic doesn't always hold, but
I guess once you're dead, you stop sleeping. That's like a pretty big thing, Like I will give it that point. In zombie movies, we don't think about they're attacking at day and at night. It's just once you're no longer biologically alive, we enter this fantasy sci-fi RPG logic of just whatever. They're not alive, so they don't need calories to create biological energy,
I am really like chastising this movie for not having the circadian rhythm down of these beavers that are actually like undead from toxic waste due to Bill Burr and John Mayer talking about gay sex. So I guess that is on me for digging too deep. But this is when we suddenly hear knocking from outside, and the beaver with the knife through its head starts thumping its tail on the counter in unison with the noises. They don't actually like touch on this. I feel like exposition I usually don't like, but like it was very obvious what it was doing. They like communicate through their tails, almost like Morse code, and you pick up on that. But it would be cool because these characters are so fucking dumb that they have to learn about beavers in a book. That they would have specified that, because they do it like 3 or 4 times in this movie.
Yeah,
but they don't really let you know.
Yeah, it's a pretty big focus for a while, and I was like, are they ever gonna like explain it or something? But no, it's just there. I'm like, okay, cool.
But Sam, as the level-headed one he is, again loses his temper, severs the head of that beaver on the counter, and then tosses it out the door, screaming at the dozens of glowing eyes in the darkness. Which was actually
cool.
It cool does. Shot, they do a cool thing with all the eyes in this movie, as cheap as this movie is. But Tommy offers to run to the car, because at this point Tommy's like, well, my girlfriend cheated on me with what's assumed to be one of my closest friends, who's also a close friend of my girlfriend's girlfriend. So I'm just gonna die now. So he offers to run to the car and try to get Buck to a hospital. Zoe offers to help, and they quickly make it to the car and drive off. Again, I know that the Zombeavers, they like kind of play with their food, but it is odd when they just pick and choose when to like, because they're all there just watching, but they're like, yeah, get to the car. Yeah. They do leave them a gift, which I think it's funny how smart they are, but it's just it's odd. But they quickly make it to the car. They drive off in the car. This is where we see. Have you guys seen Back to the Barnyard?
Oh my
No.
god, the
The
animated
Nickelodeon
movie?
show with the
The
cow.
fucking animated one? Oh my
Yeah.
god. What
Have
the
you seen
fuck?
it?
I haven't heard that name in forever. Yeah,
Yeah.
of
Okay.
course
So
I
you know the
saw it when I
old
was a
man
kid.
with the wife when
Yeah,
she's like, the
yeah.
cows are talking outside.
You're
He's like, what do you mean the
fucking
cows aren't
stupid.
talking outside? What are you talking about? You stupid idiot. The cows aren't talking. Like that's this whole scene. It's just
You're
back to the barnyard
absolutely right. Jesus Christ, Austin.
with the trans cow. He is. He's canonically trans. The main character is a cow, a male cow with udders, and they acknowledge it in the movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Deep lore.
We see Mr. Gregerson looking out the window. I said Mr., I meant Mrs., speaking of trans rights. But
Oh my god.
point is, we see Mrs. Gregerson looking out the window concerned. She tells Mr. Gregerson that she heard hollering and banging. He says, oh, it's just those kids scissoring each other to the Lady Gaga. Which again,
Yeah,
so fucking dated. Jesus,
dated
it should be like Chapel
yeah.
Roan. It's just those college girls fucking TikTok into Chapel Roan and SZA. Like I don't know. I don't know what the kids do anymore.
No, you got it.
He pets his dog and laughs her off, continuing to read his fishing magazine as she walks her ass upstairs. When she walks away, I said that so aggressively. I'm sorry. That sounded so bad.
What kind of animosity you holding towards Mrs. Gregerson? Huh?
They're just so stupid. All these people in this movie are so stupid. When she walks away, he goes to pet his dog again, but there's a Zombeaver in its place. And just that's all we see. Cut to black.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy and Zoe only get so far in the Prius before they see that the road is blocked by a bunch of tree branches. Now, they could have just drove around. There was a clear giant patch of grass that they could have just drove around. And it, like Evil Dead makes sense because it's a fucking bridge that collapsed. Like that's what they're doing right there.
Yeah.
They're
That's
doing Cabin in the Woods,
you're,
which is
you're
doing Evil Dead, and they're doing that.
They're 100%.
But a force field in Cabin in the Woods that kills fucking Thor and a bridge that can't get a fucking 1981 like fucking shitty car across it makes sense. This is a single tree that they could have drove over in their shitty Prius or around.
It's like when you're in high school and you have like the sweater you wore that day and like your backpack on the floor in the middle of your room, and that's it. And your mom comes in and it's like, this place is fucking filthy. Are you kidding me? Like, like it was the road closure version of that.
That's such a good analogy.
I'm trying to keep up with Austin.
I can't keep up with myself. It's okay. That's why you see me talking slowly.
I've actually been taking lessons.
So good.
Just composing myself. All right. So the road is blocked. It is blocked by the beavers. I don't know why I'm talking like Christopher Walken all of a sudden, but a trap is set by the beavers. Tommy spots a truck nearby. Conveniently, the truck is right next to them with nobody in it, like it's Telltale's The Walking Dead, just a truck full of guns and axes. And you have to press X or Y if you're gonna, fucking scar Clementine by stealing all the stuff. And there's an axe in there. There's some guns. That's a niche reference. I'm sorry, but Tommy looks, he grabs it, and then Zoe, he looks at her and tells her to take Buck back to the cabin while he goes to get help on foot. She's like, no, don't do it. Don't. Mary's gonna be so sad. And he's like, fuck Mary. Fuck all you guys. You're all terrible. I want to live. You're all gonna die by yourselves.
Fuck
he doesn't
Mary.
say that.
Kill beavers.
That's exactly what it was. Thank you.
Oh, why was that not the tagline on the cover? Ooh, you were taking classes. Yes, and you get extra credit. God damn. Joey, clip that. Future Joey editing this. Clip that.
Clip that.
So he goes on foot. Buck apologizes to Joey. Buck apologizes to Zoe.
Someone needs to.
Yeah, that's me apologizing to Joey, and I'm projecting it because I feel bad. Buck apologizes to Zoe, pops his head up for the first time when he's not groaning. And he's like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back and eat your pussy, all of it when we get back, when we get safe. It just smells so bad down there. It just smells so bad, and I'm like, brother.
I'm gonna eat all of it. Speaks to tongue stretching. Let me say that.
It's like jelking, but for your tongue.
Fucking Seven.
Is
And in his defense, as fuckery as he is a boy, some of them don't smell too great, but it's one of those things where once you're down there, it's a courtesy thing. You're like, fuck, I'm at the belly button and I can smell it, but I'm not gonna be mean. I'm not gonna be mean and not do it. So I do it anyway. We take one for the team.
I got some off-pod stories.
She hears Tommy scream when he stepped 5 feet away. And when she goes to check, the beaver has chewed down a tree that fell on him and killed him in the most Wilhelm scream possible. It's not a Wilhelm scream, but I swear to God, it sounded just like it.
Yeah.
And then we see him poorly CGI'd underneath there. He looks like Flat Stanley with the way they photoshopped him. But he prepares to defend herself, but Smith with a Y shoots one of them and scares them off. And I love how he shoots them because he's like the country bumpkin that's like a gunsmith, and it's always right as they're mid jump about to attack their face, he shoots them and they like start CGI like circling like an anime, like when they get all chibi. And they grab Buck out of the Prius, throw him in the truck, and then they start to drive off in the opposite direction back to the cabin. And this is where we cut back to the cabin, as you would assume. So back at the cabin, the other group is fortifying the house. Call of Duty 6 just came out. What timely time to fortify a cabin from zombies? But I just lost my place, and we're going to find it, and I'm going to buy it for time because my touch screen just glitched.
Zombies, shout out. Fucking Call of Duty Zombies. Man. I need to get the new one, I think.
You know what?
I know.
I think we're past it, but there was a good... This is a reference I make all the time, and I was pretty happy to hear it in this movie, but I think we're about at that point, but at one point Sam, after all the shit is going down and they're like very aware of what's happening, he goes, "Come out to the lake, have a few laughs."
Yeah. That was funny. Yeah.
Which is a Die Hard reference.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I think I've seen that movie twice in my life. I feel ashamed to say that on a movie podcast, but yeah. It's like I've never finished Citizen Kane.
It's a great
but
movie.
I think in Die Hard it's come out to the coast, have a few laughs.
Yeah.
But as much as I want Black Ops 6 and I've never bought a Call of Duty game, I want it just as much as this group back at the cabin wants to fortify the house with wooden panels by Mary telling Sam, you do realize that the whole point of a beaver is it fucking chomps wood as the beavers keep busting through. It's like Roger Rabbit. Like he's nailing one up really fast. They bust through. Nailing one up. They bust through. In the way they're like stabbing them with kitchen knives, and they're literally just going like,
Yeah.
Like they're just poking them in the head.
Yeah, those shots are hilarious and like have to be on purpose how bad they are.
There was one scene earlier, like the first time the beaver pops through the window, you can clearly see a guy in like an all black morph suit or like a black shirt, and that's just his hand. Like the puppet is his hand going like this. It's like
Charlie and Green Man.
This movie feels like Do you remember that puppet movie that bombed? It was like Jim Henson's son or something tried to make an R-rated detective movie in like 2018, and it was like the Puppet Time Murders. This feels like if that guy made Cabin Fever. This is what that movie feels like.
That's so. But I remember kind of enjoying that one too. I have to visit it.
Well, now I'll watch it.
There you go.
So back in the truck after the bad one-liners happen, and I itch my nose for the 700th time. Smith with a Y drops a little exposition about beaver fever hitting the area back in the 70s. And what I assumed was just going to be a pussy joke is actually something sincere from him, which was interesting because he all of a sudden like turns heel and becomes like useful and not a piece of shit. But it's caused by the Giardia parasite. I butchered that. But it affected humans as well, causing diarrhea mostly. And then he turns to Buck and he's like, y'all got diarrhea? And Buck's just like breathing on the window. And he's just like, nah. And he's like, all right, fine. I don't know. But whatever's going on here is unlike anything he's ever seen before. So like this parasite already existed. So like it's a lot like Blank 19 where it already existed. And then this chemical goo created an Omicron variant is kind of what's going on here. That's kind of what I took from this. I'm like, oh, you just exasperated an already, It's like a bird flu situation, but on steroids. They gave COVID-19 the super soldier serum is what happened in this movie. But when they arrive back at the cabin, beavers attack as they've been doing for the last 30 minutes, just as they're trying to take down the barricade in front of the door, which forces Zoe, Buck, and Smith with a Y to duck into the Gregersons' house. There, they find the bloody bodies of a couple lying around. The husband clearly just a few feet from the chair that he was sitting in, face down. And as they inspect, that's the way he likes to perish. Fuck. I don't know. I didn't get that far in the joke. I couldn't think that quick on my feet. I don't know. That's the way he likes to yuck. Yeah, there we go. Yes. A furry reference for the theme of today. But
I'm telling you, it's not for some reason. There's exceptions to rules, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, but when I move 50 to 75, it's not an exception. But anyways, his wife is upstairs, dead in her bed, peacefully sound asleep with a bunch of chunks taken out of her by a dastardly little beaver. Okay, so they're scoping around. They're doing this and that. Is this the part with the chicken stick, the drumstick? Because that part actually made me laugh.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Because this. So Zoe is talking to Smith with a Y. Buck, it just goes right back to the state he's always in. He's either hobbling everywhere, just groaning. He makes no one-liners after 10 minutes, even though he's the comedic relief. And then he's just on the couch, just zonked out. She's adding ice to his foot bag, and she's like, "Hey, am I doing this right? Is this okay?" And he's like, when'd you lose the foot there? I don't know, like 5-6 hours ago. Well, if we don't get to the hospital within like the hour, he's probably not going to get reattached. So you should probably just like chuck it at the beavers anyway.
And he tells her too, well, you don't want to put it directly on ice.
Yeah.
And it is just in a bag of ice. Like there's nothing, you know, which is funny because usually in movies, they're creating these misinterpretations of fact, you know, but they're like, what, did you learn this from a movie? You're stupid. That's not how that works. Learn things from fucking books.
Literally, you know? Yeah. It's interesting. That's what I'm saying. Like it does, like it is self-aware in that way and very much plays with these tropes, knowing that, you know, it's and then interesting.
The whole time he's just chomping like viciously on this drumstick. He's just like looking at the severed foot. He's taking out fucking decaying beavers. He's looking at dead old people upstairs and 5 feet next to him. And he's just like, yeah, I don't know. Just throw it out the window. Let the beavers eat it. I don't know. He's just like, hey, you want chicken? There's so much chicken in the fridge. We got dark meat. We got white meat. We got a whole fucking rotisserie in there. And she's just like, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. But back in the cabin, you know, this is very quick cuts. We get Mary, who's, again, this is another like 10 minutes of them just like, oh, the beavers just stopped for some reason. And they're just sitting around on the floor, just lollygagging with their toesies out. And they're reading books, Mary specifically, on the behaviors of beavers. We get quotes like keen senses of hearing, smell, and touch. They live up to 24 years. Sam replies with, quote, just like us if we don't make it out of here, which is funny because if they're supposed to be like college co-eds, you graduate at like 23, ideally. So like they're like super. I know you can go to college at any point, but like the idea of joining a fraternity and a sorority at almost 25 is kind of like crazy to me because isn't that like isn't that the premise of the movie Neighbors? Is that like Zac Efron's like 26 and still in a fraternity and he's the loser?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Mary continues, quote, they're monogamous. Jen retorts, not like us. Bow, ba-dum, bum. I did start singing that when she said that. I was like, da-da-da-da. But anyways, quote, look, once the three of us are far away from this cabin, we can sit down like adults and figure out why you both find me so fucking attractive. And that's what Sam says. So you know, just in like such a piece of shit. But I'm also just like, I mean, I get where he's coming from. He kind of wants to live right now.
I rooted for the Beavers so strongly in that moment.
I chose the Beavers.
I hated him so much only because I was thinking about like, why do I hate him specifically the most? And it's because he's the shittiest, but also like down to like his body type, his face, the way he looks at that point in his life and the way he acted. I was like, you're kind of projecting there, buddy. You kind of just hate yourself. But anyways, we can't turn against each other right now. This is exactly what the Beavers would want.
Yeah.
You know, everybody was a fuckboy once in their life. You know, we live and we learn. We go to therapy.
It
But
was funny when he said that about like what the Beavers want, because it's just like they really personify them, you know. But but it's also like truly, I don't think there's any thoughts in those heads.
No,
they're just like, yeah, get chew down house, eat people.
Yeah, exactly. Much like there's not a lot of thoughts going on in their heads either.
Although they do apparently know what phone lines are, so I mean, what the fuck do I know?
And they mention it too. They're like, do they eat wires? Do they eat phones? Like, I don't know. He just eats shit. Like,
yeah, he's like a wire's a thing they could chew on. So like, I guess.
So Jen picks up the book, continues reading. Quote, they are considered to be excellent at building tunnels. This makes Mary uneasy, and the rest of the group slowly say, fuck this, and get off the floor that they're all sitting on, getting onto the couch. She then goes to the other room to lie down. We cut back to Smith with a Y, and he sees the bag that Zoe is holding. Oh, this is the part where we were talking about with the foot. Okay, so this was happening here. This is the whole incident with how she's like, can we get him to the hospital, blah, 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 chicken tenders. And then this is where he says that they're going to need to hold up until morning, so there's no use in hanging on to that, and it'd be best to cauterize the stump to prevent it from bleeding out. And then she's like, have you done that before? And he's like, I don't know. I watched enough fucking movies to know how to do it, I guess. Right after chastising her. Yeah. Right after chastising her for like, why are you watching so many movies? You can't put ice on a foot. But as if the movie couldn't get any crazier, we see Jen walk into the room where Mary is sleeping for what appears to be sexy time. She crawls on top of her. And this is another thing. I watched this on Tubi. In between that scene with him saying he was going to cauterize it, there was an ad break. And then it just cuts back to this. And I was like, I don't remember it just happening. This is so crazy that they
were like, I don't remember this movie being so cool.
I mean, yeah, I was getting a little, tugging my chub, whatever acronym or fucking noun you want to use. Straight up jorking it. But, I didn't remember it just happening because they set this character up, Jen, to be kind of like our lead antagonist. And it's fine to do this, what's about to happen, but there was just like, no, it's just happening.
There's literally no lead up. It just fucking happens. It's wild.
So multiple people are bit at this point, but nothing's happening to them. Mm-hmm. And we think sexy time's about to happen, this hot lesbian scene. And there's a quick one-off line about how they used to make out once at a party, but only when they were drunk. And then Jen's like, yeah, but I was drinking. And Mary's like, no, you liked it. Come here.
Yeah. I've heard this from girls that I like went to high school with. They're like, it's just fun to make out with each other when boys are watching. And I'm like, so you are gay to some extent. You're either a lesbian or you're bi, and you have an exhibition kink.
Yeah, you're gay for pay, but the pay is attention.
Like people don't just make out. You know what I mean? It's
people don't do that.
Experimenting and being like, oh well, I actually got nothing out of it other than like people looking at. It's like, yeah, you don't. People don't normally do that. There's a lot of stuff in society for both men and women where it's just like just be gay. Like like it's fine.
I love that through this show you can track all of the kinks that we've covered.
Yeah.
It's like specific.
Horror is about family and kinks, and we will not be talking to a therapist about it.
Yeah, that's our Visitor Q episode.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. The Christmas episode that we need to revisit in a month.
I will say, unfortunately, this whole scene was ruined for me by Tubi because this scene was the cover image for the movie. Yep. So I wish I was shocked when all this happened, but it was still fun and effective. But I hate when they fucking do that.
I had the same issue because I never watched the trailer for this until leading up to doing this because I was curious. I'm like, I wonder what the trailer's like. So I look it up on YouTube. This is literally like the attention grabber. Is that what's about to happen? And I'm like, why would you do that? This is the best part to get side blinded or whatever.
Blindsided,
Blindsided. Jesus, God, yeah, the best Sandra Bullock movie ever. Yeah.
That was good. No, I will say I didn't I don't know if I had ever really seen a trailer, and if I did, I didn't remember this exact scene. So when this just happened, I was just like, yo, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah,
I don't even know if I saw the poster when I hit play or anything, but
the poster is actually very funny. The poster is
yeah,
good. Like
yeah.
the original like official poster, it's
Mhm.
actually very cool. But sexy time's about to happen. We got Jen crawling over Mary as she's in bed. And then Mary, looks at her and says, "You never cared that Sam cheated, did you? You only cared that it was with me. I love you, but I just don't think of you in this way." All of the sudden, Jen's fingernails start to grow out from
Yeah.
under her own nails into these like raggedy claws, as well as her front teeth form into jagged fucking like chompers, and all of her other teeth fall out. She transforms into a human hybrid Zombeaver. And at this time, she's like hunched over like Schmeagol. She's doing like a dance. She's like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you have been the shittiest actor in this whole movie so far, and you really redeemed yourself here.
Incredible
You went
creature
full
actor.
goofo right here.
Yeah.
Sam walks in with a bat and kills her, blunt force trauma to the fucking dome before she can attack Mary. And then we just cut. We're not even like, no explanation, no conversation,
Yeah, they're
nothing.
just like, all right, that happened. We're good.
Because I really want to learn about more with Smith with a Y for some reason. I don't. That's the thing.
This chicken eating fool. This cold chicken eating fool.
Cold chicken's the best way to eat chicken. I'm not going to argue about it.
No,
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I was just about
Absolutely.
to backpedal to say chicken, specifically fried chicken,
Yes.
and pizza slamming the next day cold out of the
Yeah.
fridge.
Man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna go get some food tonight just to have leftovers tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You get the Lee's chicken. Oh.
I have leftover pizza from last night in the fridge. Oh, I'm waiting on it.
All right. So Smith with a Y, we cut back to him preparing to cauterize the wound. But then as soon as he's about to pull the blade out of the fireplace, and we hear Buck getting all buck boy with it, like groaning and moaning, like, no, I have no foot and I'm gonna bleed out, but please don't help me. Ooh, it's gonna hurt too bad. He's chomping on a stick, which he's chomping. They use the stick.
Yeah.
That's funny. They hear that's funny. That's fucking funny. Like, not
now,
the belt
guy
he's
who
wearing.
just got it.
Yeah.
Well, like, it's the idea of like they could have taken one of their belts off, but they had to have gone outside, found a stick, came back inside, put it in his mouth, just for them to hear a growl from outside where they clearly just were. They go to check. Buck pops up, post transformation into a hybrid fucking Zombeaver, chews on Smith with a Y's face while carrying him upside down. And that's the thing. He's holding him like this.
That
and like
kill is so weird.
He's
so
Tobey Maguire Spider-Manning Mary Jane. Like chewing on the guy's face.
Totally.
Yeah. I was kind of waiting for like a reveal of like a big, horribly, fucked up face or something from that, because they really played it up.
Yeah, and he just kind of had like the white eyes, kind of like some chompy teeth. But I think they just kind of put all their budget into fucking Jen's transformation, because we're gonna see her in a minute, and it's so fucking ridiculous.
And we do see in well, I mean, obviously, but like a lot of it, like a surprising amount of it is practical, even while she's like changing.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have to say real quick, I didn't write these notes this time around, and I didn't actually see that the last sentence of that was the worst form of a Spider-Man kiss. That's just what I thought of when I saw this. So that brings me even more joy.
That's funny.
I got you.
Zoe, in the heat of the moment, terrified for her life, wanting to protect the man.
What her heart would say. Go on.
Wanting to protect them. I know what you guys feel like now when I talk about furries. Zoe grabs the gun. She's like, do I protect the man that's clearly going to save my ass, or do I protect the man that can't even make me come? I don't know. It's a really hard decision to make right now. But she ends up accidentally shooting Smith with a Y on the third shot right through the eye that's not getting chewed out. And then Buck goes down to town on his face as he falls over, slumped dead. She tries fleeing out the front door, but a beaver is blocking it. And it's funny because it like slaps its tail on her foot, just literally hits her toe, and it causes her to just like fall backwards like she's in the fucking Exorcist and she's about to like break her hip. She tries, fleeing out the door. That doesn't work. And then when she falls down, startles Mr. Gregerson's body that's getting chomped on by our main man, Buck, who sees her. And then, we get the old Wow, my brain just blue screened.
Bong. You know
We get the old let me get let me get composure and patience and attention, Austin. Come on, get it together. All right, so Jesus Christ. All right.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Thanks, Mom. All right. Back at the cabin. This is literally just back. This is A shot, B shot.
Yeah.
This is just A shot, B shot the whole fucking time.
It is.
This is a Hallmark movie.
When I was doing the notes, I was like, I know it's just gonna get
back at the cabin.
But that's
also
just the runner in this episode as well.
Yeah.
This is like, oh God, it's perfect for Christmas time because this is every fucking Hallmark movie. All right, so back at the cabin, Mary and Sam.
Then they went back to John Santa's Christmas farm.
yeah, exactly. Then she got a divorce from her abusive husband and went back to her hometown. And then the guy that she rejected in high school that's now a multimillionaire doctor went back to his hometown. And then they went back to their parents. And then they went back to get a Christmas tree because she's a single mom. And then she couldn't afford it. So then the guy went back to get his own Christmas tree, but said, no, I don't need this. And then they just happened to run into each other. And then they fell in love. And
you need to let him get it out of his system.
Is he Santa's son? Because that's the twist I'm looking for.
Oh, I'm thinking of like the trashy Harlequin romance Hallmark ones. I married a billionaire on Christmas, not the fantasy ones.
No, they've done that, but then I think they've also done a lot of like specifically that, but for Christmas, where the guy is John Santa, the son of Santa. You know,
that's so
like that's right. Your name is John Santa. Why did I never think about that? You know,
I only ever saw.
It's Santa's son. His last name.
Yeah.
It's Father Saint Nicholas. He's a pastor at the local church.
Exactly. Yeah. Nick Saint.
All right. Nick Saint Nick. There we go. All right. Back at the cabin. Mary and Sam. They're going to fucking town. They're managing to trap Jen in the bedroom. They're like, okay, damage control. Hey, we're the two last survivors probably. This is the end of the movie. I hope to God at this point. Let's try and make it out alive. So they trap her in there, and then we hear stomping from inside, and we cut to see Jen slamming the ground with a massive tail that she's grown out of her ass.
That was so funny. What is the there's just no logic you could possibly apply, but I mean, I just played a video game where anxiety turns into magic, and that's why dragons exist. So what fucking room do I have to criticize? You know?
She looks like, remember in South Park when they made Snooki Gollum?
Yeah,
that's what she
totally
looks like.
Does, yeah,
totally.
The cabs are here.
So we're cutting back to Zoe, who at this point she's all alone in the Gregersons' house. She's upstairs. She goes upstairs. She thinks it's safe, but now Mrs. Gregerson's dead corpse, you see the eyes flash open, and it's so convenient. Like they don't turn. I'm thinking at first, like, oh, it's nighttime. You know, they're nocturnal animals. The disease will kick in at night. So like that kind of makes sense at this point. But like when they decide to turn is so convenient to the fucking plot, and it makes it even funnier how fucking stupid it is when they just randomly turn into zombies.
Exactly.
But she's attacked by Gregerson when she turns around. She goes to shoot her. The gun gets knocked out of her hand. She falls over. In like a split second, we just see her say, fuck it, we ball, and then just jumps out of a second story window through the glass and is seemingly knocked unconscious from the fall. And I understand that like sometimes you're knocked unconscious for a few seconds, but if we're assuming that there's hundreds of suddenly beavers that are all infected with a zombie virus, wouldn't that just be free food? That's like the soup kitchen equivalent for them, right? Like you're just like, oh shit, free food. There we go.
It's funny because there's a bear in the movie earlier, and I mean we're from California, so I feel like this is like a thing you say in California because you might run into this. I feel like it's maybe not as known in like the Midwest, but I think the phrase is, if it's brown, lay down. If it's black, fight back. Because brown bears, if you play dead, supposedly they'll leave you alone. And black bears, I have witnessed my dad go out, and like a black bear came into our campsite, and I woke up to the sound of him in his tidy whities, smashing cookware together until the bear ran away. So I mean, there was a brown bear earlier, so maybe there's some clever play here. I'm really trying to give this movie credit.
So we cut back, giving it the credit that it doesn't deserve, to Mary choosing a very weird moment for sexy time with Sam. So they run and barricade themselves in the bathroom where this initial, Zombeaver epidemic took place. And she's like, take your shirt off, take your pants off. I don't believe that you're not bitten. And they all get completely naked. And then he's like, hey, what's that on your your ribs? And I'm thinking like, ooh, this is a cool moment to maybe care about Mary. Maybe we get some backstory about Mary. Maybe it's a scar from something different. Nope. She just starts fucking him. And it's like the type of fucking where there's, he lifts her up and he's already inserting himself inside of her. He's just, and you hear the like, ugh, like
he's like got her on the sink. And I'm just like, it's just so funny. All the time in movies, I'm just like, Am I the bitch here? Because like that just doesn't seem like a comfortable way to have sex. Like that just doesn't seem like
yeah, it doesn't seem efficient.
Yeah, and then speaking of efficiency, in this same moment, she goes to take her glasses off, and he's like, "No, it's really hot. It's hot. No, keep them on." Like it just serves no purpose other than to make him. I mean, glasses are really hot, but like to make him more like unlikable. Like in that moment, like you're about to die, and he's like, "No, I'm so close. Just give me a second." As they prepare to handle their scandal on the bathroom sink, a beaver gets set on fire from biting the cable in the living room that he was plugged into. He catches a flame and runs straight into the curtains. The fire begins to spread rapidly. Mary smells smoke and asks Sam if he notices too. But as he goes to check, Jen, who for some reason wasn't downstairs, there was no downstairs. This is a one-floor cabin, and I'm just now realizing this. She's like 2 rooms over. And she was locked in the bedroom. And they do say that beavers can tunnel. And they're actually kind of smart. And with a human intelligence angle, I'm giving this movie too much credit. She could have tunneled, but she bursts from under the bathroom. And I mean, this part's very satisfying. She goes to bite him and she chews his dick off through his underwear. And I mean, you see every strang of that thing. Like you see it just, it's like a clown when he's pulling the fucking thing out of his throat. Like,
literally.
It just keeps coming.
I always bring up that bit on this show.
It's so fucking accurate to gore.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So she's chewing his thing off. Mary takes the opportunity in this moment to make a run for it, but is blocked by the barricades, beavers, and raging fire. All of a sudden, Smith with a Y. I didn't specify. I'm so sorry. His truck comes barreling through the wall of the house with Zoe behind the wheel. Mary hops in and they drive off. But a zombified Smith aims his rifle at the truck and fires around, causing Zoe to swerve and hit a tree.
I love when she jumps in the car, though. They're like screaming at each other, and it's understandable in a moment like this, but they're doing that like high-pitched, unintelligible, erratic screaming, you know? And they're just like, what's going on? Oh my God, where is everybody? They're all dead. But just it's the way the casual, the like weird casual nature of that statement. And then also like even when it's being screamed, and then Zoe's just like, yeah, checks out.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. This like just throws it in reverse.
It's like that whole interaction. Have you guys seen The Haunting of Hill House in its entirety?
God, not for a long time.
I have not.
Oh, never mind. I'm not even going to spoil it because it's the best part of the whole show. I love that show. But it reminds me of the worst version of that. Like there's the idea of like, what's the worst version of something that could possibly happen? That interaction is the worst version in Haunting of Hill House. The scene I'm thinking of, it's the best part of the whole show for me, is the best version of this. It's like the Venn diagram on polar sides and in the middle. Mary takes, she runs for it. They're in the car. They're going boom, bam, bop, running out of the way. And they swerve and they hit a tree. So every one of the zombies begins to swarm the truck as Zoe struggles to get it to start again, And it's weird because like the way that the door is smashed, you'd assume one of them had flown out because where Zoe, I know that like he shot the window, but it looks like a body had projectilely gotten thrown out of it. Like one bullet hole just like concaved half of the windshield. And
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. But they're all swarming. They're even more terrified when they see the bear from earlier is now also a zombie with a beaver tail and beaver teeth and heading towards them. So the bear is in the back of the bed of the truck. All the zombies are on both sides. The Gregersons, Smith with a Y, fucking Buck, and that's it. Yeah. And then so they finally get it started and they drive away. But as soon as they get in the clear, Jen on the top of the truck somehow, they didn't hear that happen, swoops down onto the windshield for one last jump scare, if you even want to call it that. I just found it hilarious. Zoe slams on the brakes, sending her flying forward, and then slowly runs her over, and you see her head squish like a fucking basketball. And then she just kind of looks at Mary and goes, "I never liked that bitch anyway."
Yeah, which I thought was a very ridiculous line to put in when
after you've gotten the entire backstory and all that.
Well, she outed the other girl, so if she really didn't like her, she wouldn't have done that. Zoe is far and away the worst person in the entire movie and the least likable. It's just there to try and like justify the like, yeah, you thought the person we followed for 70% of the movie was the lead character. Gotcha. And it's just
I will agree with that. That for sure.
That's the one thing I can point to as being like bad writing. Like it's all silly, it's all goofy, but like they were like, oh, we're gonna throw in this twist and we're gonna be so smart, and it's just like not really. It's not really earned in any way. And if it was like more up in the air who the lead was, that would be one thing. But it like explicitly followed Jen up until she changed.
That's another thing I'm just now realizing, because again, you should really watch the trailer. It's like a minute long on YouTube, because again, like the ending scene right here that we're about to get to, it shows Zoe. Like in this ending scene where we see Zoe we're about to get to, that's like the end of the trailer. It shows the transformation of Jen. And then it shows Zoe in this final scene we're about to get to. And now I'm thinking about, like, you just gave me.
They usually do that, though. Yeah.
I know, but like when you're building the premise of subverting the main character, it's crazy to just be like, this is actually the main character.
It'd be like if at the end of Cuckoo, the younger sister was the real lead, and the trailer showed you the little sister.
Yeah,
like doing an action beat. You'd be like, what? Like
exactly.
You spend the whole movie being like, oh, this,
yeah,
this is how this is set up.
So as much as we're digging into this movie with nothing to be dug into, they reach the blocked path from earlier.
That's why we do this show.
I know, I love it so much though, because it's like, this is the worst example of something to really dig your teeth into. This is like, when you're really hungry and you're eating a drumstick, because the drumstick is the best part of the chicken, regardless of if the thighs are the superior in Flavortown, but the drumstick is just the most fun to eat. You just feel like a fucking caveman. You're just like, I chew on bone. All right, this movie, like I said earlier, Haunting of Hill House is like the fat head of the drumstick. You're getting sloppy with the head. You're going to fucking Throat Town on the drumstick up front, but then you get to the bottom and you're still starving after that drumstick. So you start chewing on like the skin on the fucking bone, and you chew on the cartilage. That's what this movie is.
Been there, brother. Been there.
Like there's nothing to chew on in this movie. It's just fucking cartilage and skin, and I love it. Don't get me wrong, but this is a very ED episode, if you feel me. Like there's nothing to eat.
It sucks that you had to make it into like a fellatio reference, but man, I really want some fried chicken.
I know.
I was talking about eating disorder, not erectile dysfunction.
Well, just the way you described it sounds.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, and I followed up with eating, but I meant that the whole time. Ha ha ha. He he. I'm taking the credit for that one that I definitely didn't mean to do.
Anyway,
all right, so they reached the block path from earlier, and as they're walking, Mary pulls a gun on Zoe. Dun dun dun. Where'd we get the gun? We're about to find out. It's not actually just a random gun, because that would have been, par for the course at this point if she just had a random gun. But Mary suddenly begins to transform out of nowhere. Wow, I fucked that up because I skipped a sentence. Cut that part out. Only time I'll tell you to cut anything out. Ah! Spoiler warning for something that I just said before. We're gonna 2003 Nickelodeon clock stoppers this, and we're gonna go. Foo, 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 foo. All right, they reach the blocked path from earlier, and as they're walking, Mary pulls a gun on Zoe and accuses her of being bitten because you didn't hear anything else before this. So you're like, "Whoa, what's gonna happen?" Or you could just watch the fucking movie and then listen to this episode. Yeah, it's your fault. Before just gaslighting the people that take the time to listen to this. Before she can plead her case, Mary suddenly begins to transform, and Zoe bludgeons her with the axe. I mean, it's not really a bludgeon, but it is because it's a sharp job. Semantics. She bludgeons her with the axe. She goes bump, bump, bump. And then, she just walks off as the sun rises, and we're left with a brief moment of peace. Relieved that she finally made it out of this nightmare. You know, we're just like, God, the worst character lived. Wow, I'm so happy for her. She's just going to go live now with trauma and being an even more terrible person because she's the type of person to not go to therapy because she's too narcissistic to think that she's the problem. Anyways, we cut to Joseph driving the chemical waste truck.
Who fucking hurt you, dog?
So many people.
Hasn't hurt him.
So many people. I can name them off in alphabetical order if you want. But you would have to redact it and bleep it out.
God damn it.
We cut to Joseph. He's driving the chemical waste truck. While texting again, the man does not learn. And Luke looks at him and says, hey, you sees that girl? Joseph, once again, not paying attention. He's like, yeah, I totally see her. And he's like, I don't think you do.
No, he doesn't say that. He this time, the first time he said, I don't think you do. But this time he goes, you know what? I trust you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's
I didn't. Okay, I thought it was just repeating. Okay.
Yeah, no,
all right.
Totally,
yeah, Joseph once again not paying attention, and then he turns right to Zoe, killing her instantly, and then we get her guts and her blood becoming the Zombeaver title card, and then the credits roll. But before those credits roll, while we get the initial title credits, we actually get a fun blooper reel. And the one thing I miss the most about movies, we don't get no fucking blooper reels anymore. And this is why I said earlier that Buck has mommy issues, because we get a deleted cut of them fucking riffing during the sex scene, and he's like, my mom hates me. Oh, I'm a terrible person. Yeah,
I was really glad we got a blooper reel in this movie. We don't get enough of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you mention the bear?
Yeah.
You mentioned the zombie bear
very quickly.
That was so silly.
Yeah,
not in a bad way necessarily, but it was very silly. Seeing it with like a big tail and the bug teeth and everything. The first time I saw the bear, I was like, "Is that a CGI bear?"
No, I think it was just like they just shot.
They could have separately. Yeah, it could have been like stock footage at this point. I wouldn't fucking blame them. I don't know. Man, but the one, what's up?
Speaking about them being like gremlins, when they go to like try to escape and they chew the tree and it falls and kills the guy, he like walks off screen and then the tree falls and you hear him scream and the impact, and then it cuts to two little beavers and they're both just looking at each other like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then I didn't mention this, but as this final drive away, they're about to make the clear somehow, and then they're about to get hit by a second tree that Mr. Gregerson, now as a zombie, and another beaver are chewing down. Yeah. And then they miss it, and then it cuts to them, and they're just like, oh, like mad little Looney Tunes. But my favorite part of this blooper reel is just mommy issue Buck and the scene where Mary goes back to grab a knife or something. She was getting something, and then she accidentally pulls a dildo out, and she kind of looks at it for a minute, and she's like, no, and she throws it and grabs something else.
Yeah, that was very early 2000s film coded.
Yeah, it was like Sex Drive with Fall Out Boy featuring.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I think the book ending alone earned this film an extra point for me, for sure.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And then the whole, what did he say? I got a hand job in an Arby's once.
Yeah.
Wait, did I give one?
Wait, did I give one? Yeah. And then when he's like, oh, I like to, we go out to eat and we do stuff together. I see a lot of myself in this story.
And he's like, no, man, no, it was a phase. Like.
That was so good. But all right, I mean, should we get into the ratings?
Yes, please.
Let's do it. Who's going first? Would that be me? All
I
right,
want
let's
yes. Yes.
I'll go first then. Yeah, man, it was a stupid fun time, and it was exactly what I needed at that moment. I needed a stupid fun time, and it served it again delivered on way more levels than I thought it would initially. Like I heard the name, and that's why I said earlier cult classic, because I know this among people like in horror circles as
Mhm.
a favorite of people's. And I was like, okay, it's gonna be stupid, whatever. Like, and I thought it was gonna be so bad that I was like checking my phone. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that's the level
No,
of
I
like
know.
bad I was
It's a
expecting.
red box movie. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But it was so much better. I will say it not on the same level as Tucker and Dale versus Evil, but but not very far off either. Like with all the subverting of the tropes and stuff like that, or just like the self-awareness of it, I think helped out a lot too. But I had a great time watching it. I laughed a lot. Like it was a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be too as well. Better written than I initially thought it was going to be. The effects are great. The animatronics and the beavers, they're fucking fun, man. They're a lot of fun. Like we said, they have a lot of character in the actual puppets themselves. So all that the dog scene was so fucked up. so that was so fucked up, man. But
There's
yeah,
like a level where you want to be like, yeah, that's practical, but like if it was between me and Yusuke, I'd die.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
No?
100%.
I
Like
And the blooper reel, I was just about to bring that up when in the blooper reel they have the dog swimming and
yep.
they're like he's supposed to be afraid of the puppets
Yep.
and he just
Yeah.
kept going and like playing with them.
yeah, he's
There
like, these
is
are my friends.
Yeah.
there is one more thing regarding I was going to bring up the blooper reel real quick, but since we're on the topic, if you watch to the end of the credits, I just had it playing when I was looking stuff up on my phone and I paused it at the right time and at the very end it says no animals, were obviously harmed on the making of this movie. If
Mhm.
all these people are fictional, if they're not, it's coincidence. But then it said parentheses, except for the bear, he got a gnarly purple nurple, but he definitely deserved it. And I just want to know the story. It says that. Go back, look at it.
That's
Like,
so funny, dude. Well, I mean, yeah, all in all, it earns it a very strong 4, a very tentative 5. You know what I mean?
ooh,
Like,
we're getting light and heavy
yeah,
ratings
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Damn, I really brought a beast into this.
It's an interesting one for me because I go back and forth with it. Like, I don't know if I'll be revisiting it anytime soon, but if it's like one that I'll throw on with friends and like have a
Yeah,
couple drinks for, like, yeah, that's a great movie to get fucked up to. So yeah, all that in all,
Chad goes.
Chad.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. It knows what it is, and that does a lot for me.
Hmm.
Like it's fine, not everyone has millions of dollars to make a crazy, believable, realistic movie, but these people made a movie and it works and it's funny and it's a comedy first. So like I
Yeah,
give
for
it
sure.
I give it a lot of credit for that because when you try to say it's a horror movie and it's way more funny and there's no scares in it and it's really goofy, then it's harder to take it seriously. Um, I think on its own, like 3 out of 6, but with the Bill Burr scenes, that alone pushes it up to
Yeah,
4. It's fun. It's silly. Just don't
yeah,
watch it on Tubi because it ruins the ending.
for
But
sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That
Mhm.
I will say though that in that exact like to your point with the not trying to be too much of either, I like the sprinkles of actual horror in it, like that reveal with the zombie, like it with her transforming in the bed.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming. I didn't know that was gonna happen. So I was like, that's pretty fucking cool. Didn't know that they had the budget for that one. So, it helped it for me.
All right. Would you give it a tentative 4? We got a 3.
No,
Damn.
I gave
I
it a
gave it a
4.
4.
I
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
You want to know what's crazy?
Mm.
We just hit the lottery, boys. I give it a 4. And I'm not just saying that to say it. I really thought about this because I think about it this way, and this is what I wanted to get into. I thought about this before we even started recording. I love this movie enough to give it a 6 out of like the fun aspect of it. Like
For
it's
sure.
so stupid.
For sure.
I have like a biased nostalgia to it because like right when I started college, I saw this and like that was just a good time in my life because my life is sad now and I'm 30 and I have bills and debt and dour existential dread every day of my life. But I take vitamins
Here, brother.
just to poop. It's crazy. But
I eat gummy bears.
exactly. I just had gummy worms. Look at that. We're blood brothers. But no,
I
bias
thought you
nostalgia
meant you
aside,
passed some gummy worms.
oh, just like a centimeter of shit.
Mm.
Finish, goddamn it.
Ooh, no, but a bias nostalgia aside, no, I want to give this movie a 6 because this, like you were saying, it is just the perfect movie. Like, I know a lot of people that aren't into horror, and like it's very hard for them to watch anything with violence. And this is like the perfect movie to show them to just be like giggle and laugh at the funny man dying. Like, just it's so easy to just get baked out of your mind or get drunk and just throw this on. It's easy going. I've had the worst 3 weeks of my life lately. It's been a bad time for a lot of people, and this was just the funny silliness I needed. I actually picked this because Chad, when we did our Dead or Alive episode, made me fucking hysterically laugh at the end of that movie so hard that my
You had
first
to
thought
get me
is like,
back.
yeah, no, it's not even get you back, but like I've wanted to pick this for a while, and I'm like, well, I want to pick like the cool artsy art house. I want to be like pretentious, and I want to be as cool as these guys with their picks. And then you pick Dead or Alive, and I'm like, fuck it, Zombeaver time. Let's go, boys. Let's fucking lock in. Let's lock in for the giggles.
Yeah,
So like 6 out
I
of
like
6
some
for
bad movies.
oh god, I
Yeah.
love Dead or Alive so much. But um 6 out of 6 for like my personal love for how goofy it is, but realistically, I'd give it like a 4. I'd actually give it like a 3 in the middle and then a 4 just for the reasons you said. Like it knows what it is. It's very funny, not unintentionally, and it's effective. And it is just Cabin Fever, and that's one of my favorite horror movies, which is also hilarious, but also a lot grosser.
I haven't seen that in years.
It
Yeah,
holds up very well.
I remember it being really gross, which I
It
fucked
still
with.
holds up.
That's
But yeah,
sick.
no, 4 out of 6. We hit the jackpot.
Fuck yeah.
Ding ding ding.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
this was a fun one. And you were talking about before we even get into the ratings, do you want to hit them with the next week's pick, or do you want to just get the plugs, I mean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we're, as Austin just kind of teased, we're going back to the Dead or Alive trilogy with Takashi Miike's Dead or Alive 2 Birds.
I'm so fucking ready for that episode.
I forgot this one had
dude.
a subtitle till I put the DVD
Yeah,
in. I was like, oh yeah, birds.
Birds.
I was just thinking of the Kung Pao scene. Birdie, bird.
Yeah, strap in for this
Tiger.
episode because it's going to be like seeing Neil deGrasse Tyson live. It's just going to be me raising my hand every 5 seconds, asking Chad questions.
Yeah, it's
Like,
it's a hard one to parse, and it doesn't help that I was falling asleep last night watching it. I had to just at some point I was like, "What's going on? Like, is this movie impossible to follow?" And then I woke up and watched it with an awake brain, and I was like, "No, I just fell asleep literally every 2 minutes." I would just be like, "I'm like, oh, they're like having dinner, okay." Oh, what's happening now? How did we get here? I gotta rewind it a little bit.
Yeah, I feel it. But even then though, I was fully awake, baked out of my mind, and still could not fucking follow a goddamn
Well,
thing.
that second part will not help when you're watching a Miike movie.
I was
I
gonna
lock
say, yeah.
in. I lock in whenever I smoke, but yeah, I was just like, what the fuck? Who the fuck? Why the fuck? It is so much fun, dude. Yeah, that is gonna be a very fucking fun episode.
Yeah. So we're excited to cover that one next. So let me give the plugs and we'll pull the cord on this one. So we are the Devil's Work Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at the Devil's Work Pod. We are on TikTok and Facebook as the Devil's Work Podcast. You can reach us via email at the Devil's Work Podcast at gmail.com. And please look us up and follow us on YouTube. You can't give a link until you get a certain number of followers, but we are growing and growing.
I think
we have a link now.
Yeah, I think there's a link in the description.
Well, howdy fucking do.
Howdy ho,
but yeah, the
boys.
Devil's Work Podcast on YouTube. And I would like to plug, I basically have a new show. On Saturdays, we are doing Twitch streams where I am basically either streaming Elden Ring or in this case tonight I'm going to be doing a new one where I'm going to be editing photos, like because I do photography as well, so I'm going to be editing photos on there. I do a lot of really cool, neat horror portraits, so I come and hang out, have a good time, and then during the week, I think Mondays or Tuesdays, I actually streams the movies that we watch for the show on there, and you can actually watch along. It's a real dumb fun time. Yeah, I just get silly and fucking, have a good time watching the movies.
You
So,
gotta come watch Joey's stream on Twitch because you might see the elusive Austin the one time of the year he's actually stoned. Which might be tonight if Joey streams.
Hell yeah.
Which might be tonight if Joey streams. It's going to be a surprise, but I'm going to drop it now.
This man off a 1/4 milligram gummy.
I'm going to take my solid 2.5 edible mint, and we're going to fucking lock in, get real silly with it.
Is that the one that helps with ED that they keep marketing?
Yeah, it's Blue Chew.
The Blue Chew.
Hell yeah. Put a
We're
little
not
CBD in that thing.
We're not sponsored.
Use
Fuck
code
that,
Blue Chew backwards slash EDWP to get 22% off.
Anyway, I'm calling the show Sideshow over on Twitch. You can find it twitch.tv/sideshow PSY, spell it right. Yeah, come and hang out. It's a good fucking time. I've already had a lot of fun figuring everything out and just getting kind of acquainted with OBS and all that shit. But yeah, come and keep me entertained.
Yeah, do it.
Do it. We're gonna goon max with all the Blue Chew we got.
I'll close on this note. We really need some fan art of Sideshow as a side duck.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm down.
Oh my god.
Okay.
No,
We
need wait. We need to get Sideshow as a Typhlosion with the new leaks.
All right,
Betamaxing. Lord. I'm cuck maxing.
You got a month on the hose, you feel me?
Bye.